right, so hello everyone. I'm Olivia Goheen and I'm sitting here. Well, I always say sitting here, but I'm actually connected via Zoom with Leticia Cline. And I'm really excited to dig deep about things with you and learn a lot about you. And it's been a while. I know you used to write for Russ Brown way back, so we're bringing you back for a good catch up.
Yeah, I know. It's so exciting. I love Russ Brown. I love working with them. And it's funny because recently I just reposted an article I wrote for them like 6 years ago or something. I was like, oh my gosh, this was so much fun. And I wanted to reshare it with everyone.
Well, you're making a comeback, so I'm glad I can connect with you and yeah, we can talk about everything. So let's do a catch up. Give us a little update on your current endeavors and share a little brief biography that highlights your background.
Um, well, my background is I was born and raised in Cave City, Kentucky. It's next to the longest cave in the world. My dad loved motorcycles and built motorcycles, so I was always around it. Started riding when I was 4 and just kind of like went from there, did everything that I could to make money at it, racing, riding. I was a flag girl or a 32nd board girl at motocross races and just anything I could. And I loved it, and it took me everywhere. And then what really kind of stopped me is like, not stopped me, I'm still in it, but like what slowed me down is a buffalo. I was hit by a bison in South Dakota when I was riding, and I came back home to have knee surgery, and it was kind of a blessing because I started working on my dad's motorcycle garage. He had been passed away for 10 years at that point, and just really built a community. And I just realized that I wanted to stay and do more for my hometown. And that turned into, I now have a free community motorcycle garage. I have a bar with my mom and my sister. I renovated an old movie theater that I live in. This is my office right now upstairs, and created an outdoor event space, started the largest car show in my hometown and a farmer's market. I was on city council. I ran for mayor, and just doing everything I can to save this little town.
Wow, okay, so you're very busy. There is so much you are doing and you're pretty much doing it all. So that's very impressive. You always got to keep busy to enjoy life. That's how I look at it. And it seems like you're really doing that. And you've made motorcycles your passion. You made connecting with people your passion, it seems. And I think that really, it shows that it fulfills you. And you've done a lot of traveling and of course on your motorcycle. And you've seen so much of this country that I've seen on your social media and on your YouTube, and you're seeking out unique heritage, which is awesome. So one of your videos called Forever Tourist,
Mm-hmm.
you were going through the country looking for unique places that have unique stories. So which destination through those travels left you with a lasting impression and why? And how did it shape your perspective on life?
Oh, wow. I'm drawn to small towns. I came from one, and I feel like it's the real authenticity of America, and the last true innovators are found there. So, my favorite places are the small towns. And currently, I go to about 120 a year,
Wow.
uh, not only through my passions of travel with motorcycles, but also my boyfriend is Mike Wolf from American Pickers. So I go on the road with him a lot. But back when I was traveling, if you wanted something larger, I mean, national parks, I mean, there's nothing better than nature. And I would say in America, Glacier is by far one of the most gorgeous, it doesn't even seem real places that I've been to. And I think I've been to, I believe it's like 40 or 30, 35 or so national parks. So I would say that would be ranked at the top. Pretty much anywhere in Montana is like one of my favorite riding roads. Also, God, there's so many, like I could go through a ton, but the Adirondacks, if anyone ever gets a chance to ride the Adirondacks and the Catskills in upstate New York during June, it is the best. There's no one on the roads. The roads are pristine. It's unbelievable nature, really cool little supper clubs and restaurants and bars, and like the only thing in town. So you really get to like interact with the locals. And I just love anything that's kind of untouched and not commercialized.
I think that's the best way too, because you're in your own world almost, and like you said, untouched, and there's no one around, and you can really connect more with those areas. So that's really awesome. Thanks for all of those places. I'm gonna have to Google a lot of them, um, because they sound really great. So you had briefly mentioned that you're dating Mike Wolf from American Pickers. I grew up watching that show with my dad, and we always
Yeah.
when he would find like the cool motorcycles. And
Yes.
he was recently featured in Easy Riders magazine, showcasing all of these. So, do you ever go out with him and search for these motorcycles? And what has been your favorite bike in his collection?
Well, I go out on the road with him all the time. I try not to search because it's his show and I don't want to get attached to anything because he will buy it first. We have exactly the same taste.
Okay.
So, but what we recently we were at Mecum auction where he sold like 64 bikes. But he still had over 60 bikes and bought more when he was there. So he just wanted to change his collection to more earlier motorcycles. So, like in the teens and early 1900s. My background comes from really customization of motorcycling. My dad always did that. And then, I got into the newer side of motorcycling. So the older antique side, I wasn't super familiar with. I mean, I was from 1940, 1950 and on, but the early stuff I wasn't until with him, which I'm surrounded by. Every room in his house, his garage, every building he owns has motorcycles in it. And we sleep next to motorcycles and bicycles. And so it's hard to pick, but I mean, he's got some that are like super rare. And you would think that I would like love that. But there's like this 1926, it's an Indian A45 road, it's a road racer, and it's I think there was only like 30 or so engines built, but there's only 2 bikes that were made from it. It was built for European racing. And it sits under stairs and it's just a beautiful bike. It's in pristine condition. And I like the fact that there were only 2 of them. So I guess I'd pick that one.
Okay, that's cool. And I feel like you're probably his dream girl because you're not telling him to sell these motorcycles. You're telling him, get more, get more. Motorcycles are his best girlfriends.
Exactly. Well, I'm gonna make him watch this show so he hears that. But we were actually
that too. I'm like, you should be glad you're with me because I'm a motorcycle gal and you like motorcycles.
Yes, it's the best kind. Well, actually, when we were at Mecum, I didn't know all of the ones that he put in it, and I saw a couple, and I was like, I cannot believe you're selling that bike. Like, don't sell that one, But yeah, well, the reason why that one's under the stairs, that Indian he was going to put a couch kind of so people could sit. And I was like, God, it looks so much better with the motorcycle. So I was like, let's keep the bikes.
Yeah, we're rare breeds, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I have one. This is my office actually. And that's my old race bike. I have that there. And interesting enough, I also have a bison head like right above it, just to kind of reminds me of my journey.
I really, really like that. And I love the exposed brick you have going on. That's always my favorite in interior design.
Thanks. Well, this was a movie theater built in 1903. It was a theater and then a movie theater. And I did all this work and knocked the plaster off the walls and completely renovated this building for the past 3 years. And
yeah, really, really cool place. I actually remember because this was a little while ago because I've been following you for quite some time and you would put a lot of your restoration of this place on your Instagram story. So I'm assuming it's finally complete and you're utilizing it for all your business and everything.
Yeah, it's, there's little things still left to do, and I keep adding on and making improvements. Like I took my parking lot and made an event venue. We built a stage. So we just finished that. Yeah, I'm pretty much done. I mean, I'll always find a project though. I'm still looking for another one right now.
Well, you are a busy gal, it seems, but that's good. It's going to keep you young. That's what my granddad always said anyways. Keep busy, it will keep you young. And never walk like an old person because
yes,
you don't want to keep up with your age, so to say. So always have pep in your step. So thanks, granddad.
How many is that? That's awesome.
So, throughout your career and your life, you've encountered many triumphs and moments of setbacks. So, I know you're a survivor of cancer, but you've
Mhm.
also done so many great things in your career, like racing and hosting. So, can you share one particular instance where you faced a significant challenge and how did you manage to overcome it?
Uh, yeah, I mean, there was plenty, but I think that year that I did racing for Harley, for Hooligan was, uh, there was a lot of things that I didn't make public. So aside from like the battle with like, and it wasn't, I was really fortunate in the fact that I found my cancer early, the early detection like saved me, but it was a longer process of dealing with it and a few surgeries that were really painful. And I didn't really tell anyone in the beginning of those for the first few months. And I still raced during that time. But I also had an abscessed tooth that almost killed me. I was horrible. It was in my bloodstream. I was on bed rest for about 3 months right before I started racing. So I was like extremely weak and uh, just physically just super tired and I had no strength. So that was hard. How I overcome it was just honestly, other people motivate me. Like I always feel an obligation to leave behind like a legacy or something that I've done that a record that someone's going to come and beat. Like I just think that that's amazing. And I've always lived my life by this proverb it says, "Great men plant trees that they know they will not feel the shade from." So I just want to like do things more. I was like, you know what, women, there's no other woman on the Harley Hooligan team. Like I have to do this and I have to get other women to do it. And I just didn't want to let anyone down. And so that just made me, I just focused on that. And then that taught me that I can overcome a lot of things. I feel like if you really want something in life, you will figure out a way to
Mhm.
get it.
Yeah, and I think you probably did it in the best and healthiest way possible, avoiding thinking about what you were going through by channeling all your energy into racing and your passion of motorcycles, where some people would just give up or, take other avenues that don't benefit them. So I think that's really inspiring and really, really awesome that you did that. And you came through it on the other end, which is amazing.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, and I think that's one of the great things about motorcycle riding in general. Like, I've done some crazy stuff outside of it, jumped out of planes and whatnot. My mom's always like, she's dying. She's every time she's like, stop making me worry. But motorcycling is different. I feel like you're constantly challenging yourself. I mean, there's so many variables when you're on the road and things that could happen. I feel like almost each time you do a simple commute, you've achieved something. But like when I would ride, like getting an iron butt, like I remember doing that the first time and thinking, oh, well, that wasn't that bad. And then like I applied it to other things in my life. Like when there was another challenge that wasn't motorcycling, I'd be like, well, I rode 1,000 miles in one day, or I rode 1,500 in one day. And it was like, I can do that. Like on a Sportster 883, by the way, with a really bad seat. Like, so I was like, I can do this. I can do this.
Well, that's a really great mindset. And obviously, it's working for you to get you to where you are in life, which is really awesome. And to kind of go back to your racing, you did flat track, and I'm sure dropped the bike so many times and got into, crashes. That happens in racing. So I would like to know, have you ever been in a motorcycle accident on the road? We're Russ Brown. We always like to ask this question.
Oh yeah, great questions. A few, but nothing like crazy. So one time it was just, and these are learning experiences, and thank God that's all they were, and not like bad damage. But like, one time, I mean, it was like I low sided, just doing a pivot turn on a railroad track early in the morning that was wet, and I immediately went down. I didn't even know what happened to me, but that was simple, but that taught me a few things, even though I'd been riding for years at that point in my life. But I mean, really, no, the bison running at me was really freaking scary. And I, and no, I wasn't even like stopped to look. I mean, I was just coasting on my bike and it was unavoidable, and that changed the course of my life completely. But then 9 months after surgery from that, I was in Thailand And I was riding on a road through Mahon Song, which is 1,800 turns, and it's gorgeous. And there was a diesel spill again, like totally unavoidable, low-sided, but bad enough to mess up my leg and break ribs and an elbow and stuff. But I got stuck in Thailand for a month, which
Yeah.
was cool. And I hitchhiked everywhere and did some awesome things. But just really those two. And you know, it's one of those things like if you've been riding for a long time, it's like this knock on wood, like, oh my goodness, like when's it gonna happen? You know, like because there's so, especially nowadays, I know this sounds crazy, but you guys are Russ Brown. Like I see it constantly. So many people on their phones are not paying attention when they're driving. And I lived in Orlando, Florida, so it was always tourists. They didn't know where they're going. And then the same with like when I ride in Tennessee, Nashville, it's full of people and traffic, and it just adds to a lot of risk. That's why I stick to the back roads. To me, they're just safe.
And they're nicer, I think, too, back roads. I
Oh
mean, in
yeah.
California, you don't get a lot of back roads. You have to go inland a lot, but they are here, luckily.
Yeah.
I grew up in Canada and I moved out here, and it was just totally different, the riding out here. And I always do miss Canada because we have so many great back roads. And in California, you have to ride so far out. But on that note, have you done much riding in California, and where's your favorite spot there?
Yeah, I've rode a ton in California and I love it. Because I love it so diverse. I mean, I love riding all the way from north to the bottom of it. And but I would say like area wise, like Northern California is just gorgeous to me. Uh I used to ride a lot with some friends of mine from Bell Helmets. So what is that? Is that Santa Cruz area? Or I'm gonna
I don't
throw
know.
off. It's right outside of San Francisco.
Okay.
The So the up and through there, I mean, it's just beautiful. One time I did when I was riding back after the buffalo hit me, or bison, sorry, hit me. I went over to Olympic State Park. So I did the coast all the way from Washington down.
Mm.
That was amazing. So of course the PCH is beautiful, but Northern California and the PCH is where it's at to me.
I haven't gone up there, but I've heard great things. So, and that the whole, even up to Washington with all the mountains, I mean, you can't beat landscapes like that. Like, that's what just makes you stop and your mouth drops, you know?
Right. I don't even know how to describe them to people. Like it's so, I mean, there's just nothing like it. I mean, if you were to watch a movie or if you were to read anything in a book, it's like that, but you're seeing it and you're on a motorcycle. So it's visceral. Like you get to feel it, you get to smell it, I mean, everything. You're just like living in it. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful ride.
Yeah, well, take note, everyone. Do that ride this summer if you can. We are in the summer months now. And to go back to your career, so you've been involved in various industries, and from modeling to hosting to motorsports. So what's your advice to someone who wants to make their passion a full-time job and be successful? Because it seems like you keep going and you keep smiling. You seem to be showcasing so much success and happiness in all these industries, and you're not doing the normal, what people kind of have one job, they stick in it for 20 years. You know, you're doing the opposite of that, but you're still successful. So give us your secrets on that.
Well, thanks. I feel like I could have done, I always feel like I could do more. But you know, I think it was just growing up. My dad always told me that find what it is, what you love to do, and figure out a way to make a living at it. Mm-hmm. And then one time I was saving up to go to film and video school, and I was like waiting till I moved down to Florida to go to it till I was ready. And my dad said, if you wait till you're ready, you'll never be ready. Just if you go do it, you will figure it out. And that's what I've done. I mean, it's just, you know, I think adaptability, being really open to new experiences, make yourself comfortable in uncomfortable settings. And I think that helps. And, you know, I strongly believe that you got one life, right? So like, I don't want to be at the end of it and have all these things that I wish I would have done. And there's also this thing like the grass is always greener. There are people that have stuck to something and blown it out of the water, like the best, you know? I feel like I'm like, semi-successful at a lot of things, but not like super successful at just one thing. But that's okay. That's what I want. That I want to just learn everything and as much as I can. And the minute something feels like a job, like flat track racing was, I didn't want to do it anymore. I wanted to ride motorcycles because I love motorcycles. Like I wanted to just experience that, something I shared with my dad. I wanted to inspire others, and I didn't want to be told to do it, you know, and so that's why like I kind of adjust and adapt and go through. I also hate stereotypes. And like as a model, like I hated that. Like I loved it, but then I hated it when they're like, you can't speak and like you gotta do this and that. And I was like, what do you mean? Like I can do all these things, and I would be defiant. So like I would have contracts, they'd be like, you can't ride motorcycles while I'm under contract. But I would, and I'd show up all bruised and beat up, and I would just force them to like promote that, you know, like as much as like this is back in the day when it was like film and you couldn't Photoshop this out. And so like I would just make them try to like promote the fact that I was like this adventure type of model or whatever. And so that way other people felt more comfortable and could be themselves.
Well, to kind of touch on that too, I think like, and I say this so many times in interviews similar to this, variety really is a spice of life. And because I kind of find myself the same way. I don't like to just do the same thing over and over. I like to experience different things, open myself up to different experiences. And that's honestly the best way to find happiness in life. And, trailblazing in certain ways, which you were trying to do in modeling. And I think that's also like a true case of a free spirit, that's
Yeah.
that's the way to be in order to just truly enjoy life. I think a lot of people struggle with that. So I like the fact that you just touch in all these different areas, take on these new experiences, because you never know where you can go, which is the
Right.
amazing thing.
Well, I tell you, modeling really taught me. Modeling just came out of like someone told me I should do it when I was like 13 years old, and I was like, I'll try it. And then it taught me a lot. Man, I was so shy in school. And then for some reason, I went through all these modeling courses or whatever, and it taught me some confidence. But it was like a numbers game to me. And I realized like I could get 100 no's, but if I got one yes, then I could make a lot of money. So like I was like, that taught me in life too. Like if you don't, we have a saying around here, a closed mouth don't get fed. If you don't ask, then you'll never know. So like I was fine with rejection because I knew that one of those weren't going to be a rejection. It's like, what is it? Thomas Edison had 1,000 patents or whatever, that's fine. You're going to have some flops. Be okay with that. Learn from it. If you don't put yourself out there, then you'll never get where you want to go. And modeling really helped. And then everything else kind of just kept becoming a learning experience on top of it. It's also like hustler mentality. I'm a single mom and I needed to produce an income, and trying to figure out the balance of being a mom, making money, but being a happy person by living my true self and finding things that I love and I'm passionate about. I just knew that I had, if I commit to something, I put everything I got in it because I don't want to fail at it. I'm okay with failing, but I'm just saying like I don't have a lot of money to like not be good at it. So I like risk it all, but great risk comes great rewards.
Yeah, risk it for the biscuit, as they say.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
With all of this experience that you've gained in all these different industries, what are some unique insights and lessons you have gained from navigating these different worlds that you've worked in, and how have they influenced your approach to life?
God, I mean, some of what I just said, I don't think that I would be doing what I'm doing right now if I hadn't lived the life before. There's no way in the world I'd be okay with moving back home. I mean, I love my town. But it's a small town and I'd outgrown it. I mean, I traveled all over and I had all new ideas and experiences. But it was all those experiences that I got to get out of my system that made me come back here. And then I was able to offer something to people here that they wouldn't normally get because of its remote location. So I don't know. I learn every day and I don't ever want to stop learning. So, I think that just if everything has always taught me that if I work really, really hard at something that I will get it. And that as long as I live true to myself and, I'm a good person, doesn't mean I have to be nice all the time. I can be on a dive bar. I'm not always nice, but it also means like I prioritize, right? I put things in perspective and I see what's important. And, and I feel like there's so many little things that we do in our life that can change the course of not just our own lives, but other people's as well. And recognizing that, staying cognizant of it, living in the moment, truly living in the moment is everything that I've learned from all of those experiences.
I like that. Yeah. So you can really appreciate everything that you're learning and doing and take that forth to everything else in your life. And I think it just enables an open mind continuously, which I think is honestly the best way. I mean, subjectively speaking, it's one of the best ways to go about life, in my opinion.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah,
That was like living in when I was stuck in Thailand. I mean, I stayed with monks, and that's their way of thinking, like is you only have the moment. You can't control the past. You can't control the future. So you only have this present moment. And there's something really calming and peaceful in that. And then, but if you want to put it in country terms, because we got all these like sayings around here, it's like worrying is like sitting in a rocking chair and expecting to go somewhere. You're just moving back and forth, but you ain't doing nothing. So like that's my thought is like just don't set and overthink things. Just commit, which is what when I used to teach motorcycling, by the way, I was an MSF instructor. Mm-hmm. That was the thing. Overthinkers became the worst riders because sometimes you have to make a decision. You have to commit to it. Like there's just too many things that happen. So you just got to be able to trust that you're going to have a good decision and you're going to stick to it.
Yeah, no, I like that. And to kind of go on with that, just go and do things. I would love to know, looking ahead for you, what are things that you are doing and you're committing to, whether they're projects or goals, and that you're setting for yourself, and what's going to be happening in the near future for you.
Oh God, I have no idea. And that's the thing. I didn't plan any of this either. So I didn't plan any of it. Nothing in my life. I never set and like planned it. I think in school they were like, write a 5-year and a 10-year. And I would love to find that paper because I don't think I did any of it. But which is great. I don't, I guess like the next 5 years, I really want to finish developing my town, and I've worked really hard and really changed the dynamics of it. And I've got great people here that support it and are also investing. And I would love to do that. And then, I would, I'm just, I'm working on more projects. I mean, anything that, that restores old buildings and heritage tourism and all of those things. And then Mike and I have some motorcycle riding planned. We're actually headed to France in a couple of weeks for Wheels and Waves. And then we're riding in Italy for a little while. And I just want to do some more of that, ride more international, because I've ridden all over in the United States. And I just kind of want to go see other places again. And just, I don't know. We'll see where that road takes me. Who knows? Maybe if you talk to me next year, I'll be living in Australia.
That sounds nice. And you say that you're restoring your town, and are you just being involved with the tourism and your show, like are you trying to get tours going, or what do you mean by that?
Yeah. Well, whenever you come to a small town, change is scary to a lot of people, and I've had to be really creative with doing anything. So council was one. Politically, I'm involved. So that means changing all the boring stuff like ordinances and all of those things. But really it was restoring these blocks of buildings. But we started a group here, which is really awesome. It's a business leaders development group. And it's a group of us that like, we're investing in buildings. We're curating our town. We're not allowing certain people to come in and damage it by just doing whatever they want. Like we work hard and promoting it. I mean, I'm a marketing person by nature, so I go, I really work hard online, spend a lot of advertising dollars to put it out there, and kind of, just keep that. And I talk to investors constantly to invest in property here. We live next to a national park, so it's Mammoth Cave National Park. It's 430 miles long, and the second longest cave in the world is in Germany, and it's 163. So nothing compares to what we live next to. It's really crazy. The roads are beautiful, and what's even more amazing about it is they're really not like super known, so they're not congested at all. Anyone who's ever come here to visit me that rides their motorcycle are like, this is the prettiest road we've ever ridden. And so just promoting it in that way too. I mean, I'm fortunate enough that I have all these motorcycle connections, so I can promote it that way as well.
Well, that sounds awesome. I'm curious to see how this is going to go. I'm sure it's going to go great. You know, you have that go-getter spirit and you have a lot of pride in this. So I'm stoked to see how that goes for you. And if anyone's interested in seeing how this goes, or how can they find you? Where can we find you and what you're doing?
Well, it's just my name everywhere. It's Leticia Cline on Instagram, on Facebook. Just, I don't know, where website, leticiacline.com. I mean, I have all of that, but really like Facebook and Instagram is where I update the most, or same with TikTok or whatever. But you can follow along there, or just come visit me in Cave City. It ain't that far.
That sounds great. I've never really explored Kentucky before. I've driven through it, and because it's in the hills, right? Near Tennessee.
Yeah, so the eastern side of Kentucky is the Appalachias, so it's like mountains, and then I'm South Central, so we're known for the karst. We're caves. There's 600 and some caves here, and we're right close to Tennessee, about an hour and 20 from Nashville.
Okay.
And then the other side is all like lakes and stuff. I mean, Kentucky is a beautiful state. That's why we have the best horses and the best bourbon, because of all the natural resources here. So more the reason to come.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for connecting with me today. I loved hearing your stories and your insights. So I really appreciate your time and looking forward to connecting next time.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. It was so great talking to you.
Yeah, thank you. Take care. We'll connect next time.
Bye.
Bye now.